Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're doing a bit of a forensic investigation into a phenomenon that honestly baffles the business world every single day. We're going to look at why outwardly successful, high-growth startups suddenly just collapse under their own weight. We're going to visualize the structural fault lines hiding right beneath these companies, and more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can fix them before the ground gives way.
Think about it. What if the very speed making your startup successful is exactly what's tearing it apart? It's this intoxicating growth paradox, right? Month over month, your users are doubling, revenue is climbing, investors are literally lining up at the door. You are moving incredibly fast, and everyone is celebrating. But what if moving fast is quietly building a house of cards? High-growth startups face this brutal reality. The faster you scale, the more operationally fragile you become. Processes that work perfectly with 10 employees, they absolutely buckle when you hit 100. Communication lines fray, your margins for error shrink, and the sheer velocity of the business just completely masks these underlying foundational cracks.
All right, let's dive into this. Because we usually picture startup failures as these massive, explosive events, right? A dramatic, sudden crash. But the reality is way quieter. It's a slow erosion of operational control that leadership frequently mistakes for standard growing pains. It's this steady accumulation of unmanaged risk, compounding silently in the background. And the scary part, by the time that silence becomes a blaring warning sign, it's almost always too late to course correct. The unglamorous foundational work of building durable operations just gets deprioritized for the sake of speed and closing that next funding round.
So, we need a way to look at this. Let's jump into our diagnostic tool, the 4 pillars of risk.
Let's map out where these invisible fault lines actually hide within your company. First up is people risk. Now, we're not just talking about making a bad hire here. This is about talent gaps, severe culture rot, and relying far too heavily on one specific individual to hold the whole thing together. Second is process risk. This happens when your early-stage improvisation breaks down under institutional pressure. Imagine the scrappy, get-it-done attitude of your first year suddenly having to support 10,000 active users. It basically turns operational scaling into controlled chaos. Third is systems risk, which is all about accumulating technical debt. This is when your engineering team chooses the easy duct tape solution today just to ship a feature fast, only for that quick fix to become a massive liability that crashes your platform tomorrow. And finally, external events. Think sudden regulatory shifts, geopolitical tensions, or supply chain shocks that founders just never built contingencies for. Managing these 4 pillars is absolutely essential for long-term survival.
Actually, let me ask you something real quick. If your absolute top engineer, or maybe that one sales rep who owns literally all your major client relationships, if they handed in their notice right now, would your company survive tomorrow? This isn't just some hypothetical exercise for a corporate retreat. It's an immediate stress test of your operational fragility.
If your stomach just dropped thinking about that, you're dealing with a single point of failure. Basically, this is an over-reliance on one key vendor, a crucial software integration, or an irreplaceable employee. And it creates fatal fragility, completely regardless of how good your top-line growth looks. I mean, when one single person holds all the institutional knowledge for your infrastructure, the person who holds the passwords, understands legacy code, knows the weird quirks of your biggest client, you don't actually have a team. You have a time bomb wearing a job title. No amount of rapid user acquisition can make up for the deep fragility of a single point of failure. Here's a rule of thumb you really need to live by. Your first 10 hires aren't just filling seats to get the work done, they are setting the permanent cultural DNA of your company. It's true. A single high performer who brings misaligned values or a toxic attitude to the table can poison your team dynamics faster than a massive market downturn. Getting early culture right is vital. Getting it wrong, that's an insidious risk that scales right alongside your company, amplifying every single bad habit every time you add headcount.
Okay, let's zoom out to an even bigger threat. 3/4 of startups fall into a trap that is so deceptive, it actually disguises itself as massive success. It's mostly driven by venture capital pressure and this intense, burning desire to match the rapid pace of your biggest competitors. Do you know what it is?
74%. That is a staggering majority of high-growth startups failing because of an illusion of ambition. We call it premature scaling. On the outside, they look like they are unequivocally winning. Headcount is growing, office space is expanding into new cities, marketing budgets are ballooning into the millions. But underneath all that incredible forward momentum, the foundation is completely cracking because they've scaled the machine before figuring out if the machine actually works.
And this brilliantly illustrates how premature scaling just completely wrecks your startup's unit economics. You're out there hiring aggressively before you've even confirmed a repeatable, profitable business model. It is literally like pouring high-octane fuel into an untested, potentially leaking engine. The warning signs are glaring if you just know where to look. Your customer acquisition costs are steadily rising without better conversions. your burn rate is out of control, and your company culture is stretched so desperately thin that employee churn starts to spike. Listen, spending heavily before thoroughly confirming true product-market fit is the single most consistent predictor of a startup's collapse. Period.
So how do we fix this? How do we stabilize? Well, you apply a highly practical strategy, the 80-20 rule. You need to ruthlessly identify the 20% of your activities that are generating 80% of your operational stability and actual revenue, and double down right there. Is it a specific core product feature, a particular customer segment? Whatever it is, protect and fortify those core functions before you expand anything else. True operational discipline absolutely has to precede rapid expansion. Otherwise, you know what? You're just scaling your problems.
Now, we've talked extensively about the slow, creeping killer of premature scaling. But what about the overnight killer? The one founders consistently ignore because they assume it'll just never happen to them. What happens when your customer records, your intellectual property, your entire payment system just vanishes in an instant? What happens when you are literally locked out of your own company's infrastructure?
Which brings us to the existential threat, cybersecurity. And we have to start treating this as a board-level problem. This is not a minor IT nuisance you can casually delegate to a junior engineer. No way. This is a fundamental business survival problem that demands immediate leadership attention.
Look, if you think your startup is too small, too new, or too niche to be a target, you are incredibly mistaken. Startups are prime targets. Why? Because you offer the perfect storm for bad actors. You hold high-value data, like proprietary IP and sensitive customer records, but it's mixed with notoriously weak, immature defenses. You're operating with thin security budgets, you have severely overworked engineers who are probably cutting corners to meet impossible deadlines, and you have this pervasive, move fast and break things culture that routinely skips critical security checks. Actually, scratch that. The true cost of a breach isn't just a technical headache or a small fine. It's catastrophic operational downtime that paralyzes your business for days and completely shatters customer trust in a way a young brand may never, ever recover from.
Because at the end of the day, you can't just buy a firewall and call it a day. Security isn't a product you buy, it's a culture you build from day one. We're talking about really basic, simple, inexpensive habits here. Enforcing multi-factor authentication across every single internal tool. Conducting strict access audits when employees change roles or leave, making sure everyone on the team, from the CEO down to the summer intern, is trained on basic phishing awareness. These aren't crazy expensive enterprise fixes, they are daily, non-negotiable habits that compound into genuine protection.
Okay, let's talk solutions. The cure: proactive structural reinforcement. We spent time diagnosing the illnesses, single points of failure, premature scaling, cyber threats. Now let's look at the daily vitamins you need to actually survive hypergrowth.
Now, what's really interesting about this concept is how we can flip the traditional planning model completely on its head. Usually, we do a standard post-mortem, right? We ask what went wrong after the disaster is already struck and the financial damage is completely done. But the pre-mortem, it takes a radically different approach. You project yourself and your leadership team 6 months into the future. You imagine a total, catastrophic operational collapse, and you ask, what did go wrong? It's this fascinating psychological trick. It forces your team to drop their defensive biases and surface hidden blind spots before the crisis ever hits. You're shifting your mindset from defending the current plan to actively trying to break it so you can find the flaws.
And that kind of proactive thinking feeds perfectly into our final and honestly most crucial tool, the 3-step Startup Business Continuity Plan, or BCP. First, identify. You absolutely must map out every critical daily process and technical dependency. You need to know exactly what keeps the lights on. Second, assess. Rigorously score these processes by how likely they are to fail and how severely it will hurt the business if they do. Third, mitigate. Build specific, actionable response plans before the disruption occurs. Who calls who? What is the backup system? And guys, this isn't boring bureaucratic overhead. A BCP is the literal concrete infrastructure that makes sustainable, rapid growth possible without the constant looming fear of collapse.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to ponder. Take a hard, honest look at your operations today. Are you building durable systems required to actually survive your own success? Or are you just strapping a massive rocket engine to your existing operational risks and hoping for the best? Because remember, the high-growth startups that actually survive and dominate their markets, they aren't the ones that somehow magically avoid all problems. They are the ones that systematically prepare for them and see them coming from miles away. Thanks for joining this explainer, and we'll see you next time.